Hi, friends. I'm gonna do it. I can't help it. You saw the title. I need to paint some squishies. I don't have a ton of used squishies to choose from, like Mariah Elizabeth, so I bought a bunch of blank ones off the internet. Blank? That doesn't seem like the right word. Unpainted, I guess. So I'm gonna start with these three. We have this toucan, this hippo, and this giant dinosaur. The first one I'm going to do is this toucan. Well, it actually might be a pelican. But I have an idea that involves neither of those. We'll get to that in a bit. First, we have a little bit of prep to do. A lot of squishies have these seams down the side, and I just don't really like them. So I'm going to try to trim them off. I'm trying to pinch the squishy a bit to get the seam to sort of stick up and stand out so that I can trim as close to level as I can without biting into the squishy. It looks real fun for my bird friend with all of his crunching and contorting and smushing. The squishy also has a couple of little air bubbles here, but I'm just going to try to fill those in with paint. I am going to rough up the squishy a bit with a sanding block. I'm still enough of a squishy novice that I don't know how smooth is too smooth, so better safe than sorry. I'm going in with some puffy paint to smooth over these seams and to fill in those air bubbles. I did actually do quite a few coats before I felt like it was evened out pretty well. Some might feel like it was easier to just leave the seams, but I knew that it would really bother me if I didn't try to fix it. Now that everything is mostly smoothed out, we can get to the color. And remember, I said this is not going to be a toucan or a pelican. This is going to be a flamingo. So I'm going in with a light bubblegum pink. He's kind of short and squat for a flamingo, but we don't body shame here. For his feet and beak, I'm using a slightly more corally pink. Maybe it's salmon. What's the difference between salmon and coral? Is it coral when it's like a pretty orange pink and salmon when it's gross? Next, we have a quick background change because I forgot where and when I was for a second. And let's put a black tip on that beak. It's not quite giving flamingo yet. It's still reminding me of this guy. So let's add some outlines to the wings in a darker pink. Some eyebrows, detail this hair floofy, and his tail. I finally figured my life out and switched back to the correct background. And let's give this guy some eyes. I spent a long time looking at examples of cute eyes to find the right ones. He has huge eyes that are indented into the squishy, so they kind of had to stay ginormous, but I also really wanted them to be cute. Then I decided that he was looking too all one color, and his wings aren't really contrasting enough, so I painted the whole wing that darker pink. Oh yeah, that looks so much better. Should I fix his floofy? Yeah, I think I'm going to paint that in too. How about the tail? Looking back at this in editing, I think I should have left it how it was, but it's too late now, and I painted that in completely too. My original plan was to give this guy earmuffs and a scarf, because most times flamingos are associated with summer, so I thought it would be fun to have a winter-themed flamingo. Like, he hates crowds and just wants to go somewhere quiet and possibly be eaten by a polar bear. But I actually really like him the way he is, and I don't want to possibly ruin him. So he's just a plain old flamingo. Maybe I'll craft him a scarf and some earmuffs that won't be attached to him permanently. No, Rose, we don't have time to add sewing clothes to our project. So reluctantly moving on, I'm going to choose this hippo. I'm sure you can guess why. She's got the same big seams on her, and she's also got these little knob things on her feet. I trimmed all of that up, sanded her, and then set about flattening out all those little spots. 2 notes. I should have left the little knobs on her feet, because flattening out where I trimmed was not as easy as the seams are. And second, I definitely did not sand her enough. When I was about 3 coats in of this white paint, she started to peel. Then, instead of sanding it off, I pulled at the paint and ended up taking a chunk of her cheek out. And then I had to do a lot more work to try and fix it. After all of those base coats, I'm going to go in with a coat of purple, because this is obviously going to be Sheila. Confession time, I actually had the idea for Sheila the Squishy in my head before I made Sheila the drawing. I do kind of feel bad for Sheila the Squishy though, that she's going to have a lot of skin texture. But I also have skin issues, so I don't feel that bad. I'm just not at the Mariah Elizabeth level of reconstructive surgery. I'm more esthetician level of fixing minor surface defects. I did do a few extra coats though of the purple paint to try and even it out a little bit more. I added on her ponytail and her hippo tail, painted in her inner ears, and her super cute heart nostrils. Then I started on her eyes and messed up some of the shape, so I'll have to go back in with purple and fix that. I whitened her teeth and also messed those up, so I will have to fix them. Back to her eyes, I mixed just the right blue for this very tiny area of irises. And while that dried, I switched to her nails and lipstick. Painting squishies in 1 week is such a time crunch that I'm constantly switching to painting a different area while another area dries. And I feel like there's just no way to do it in an aesthetically sequential way. So now back to her eyes, and I'm using a black paint marker for her lashes because I need a super precise line. Let me just hold my breath for 5 minutes while I try to have a steady hand. These eyes are a little small for Sheila, but again, the shape was already carved into her head, so they're gonna have to do. I decided the red was just not the right Sheila red, so I changed the lipstick and nail polish color. And that's gonna require 5 more coats. I added a red bow and then the skirt. I'm not really sure how to paint a flowy skirt where there isn't one. And we've already established that I absolutely do not have time to create actual clothes for a squishy, no matter how much I want to. So I'm gonna try to paint a wavy, skirty shape on. After it dried though, I decided I wanted it to be a little more 3D and less bodycon. So I'm gonna do a thick layer of red puffy paint, straight from the bottle. After letting it dry overnight, it looks a little better. I'm not quite sure it looks like a skirt, but it's the best I can do. So now, to add all the sparkles, I'm going to try out this glitter paint. I really don't want to do a million little dots in 6 different reds. I did a very professional test of this paint, and when it dries, the goo part is see-through and only the glitter shows up. So I'm going to really glob it on and hope that it comes out really, really sparkly. I really, really hope this works and comes out looking cool and not like butt. I'm resting all of my hopes and dreams on this bottle of glitter. Cross your fingers. And cry, because it looks like butt. The glitter demons have cursed us. Ugh, I'm so disappointed. How do I fix it? I have no idea. And no time because it is currently Saturday morning. So, Sheila, I will definitely do you justice at some point, but you're gonna look a little gory for a while. Alright, a quick break in the video because I wanted to show you I got my first package from a subscriber. This really sweet girl, Ashley, reached out to me and said she wanted to send me some stuff, and it's here. I'm so excited. My hands are like literally shaking. Come on. Seriously? Alright, I see a note. I included some extra random items from my craft kit collection. Some items are split up just to help them fit. I hope you enjoy them. I love your videos. It's so great seeing another adult enjoy craft kits. It also saves me some money not buying garbage kits. So cute. All right. This is what she told me she was going to send me. It's a little miniature do-it-yourself kit. It's a cat house. Oh, that's so cute. And it's the same brand that I did my book nook from. This looks like more miniatures. Make your own candles. I got really into candles 10 or 15 years ago maybe. And I think I made 2. Never made them again. This looks like some molds. A cross stitch. That's cute. When I was in high school, I was super into frogs and like even painted frogs on my bedroom walls. It was a weird time. I bet this is more miniature stuff because that looks like a wall. And then a nail stamping kit. I see monkeys and pandas. Oh, okay. Well, now I guess I have to get back into nail art. Thank you so much, Ashley. I loved all of it. So the last squishy I'm going to work on this week is this dinosaur. They're a T-Rex, obviously. And they have the same seams and a little nubbin on their tail, which I will not be trimming. They also have this air pocket in their foot. I can actually see light through it. I mean, that can't feel good. Since this is actually going to be a dragon, I'm going to transplant the wings from this unicorn and squeeze them into this little spot between the spikes and the tail. I've never attempted this type of surgery before. I mean, one time I rotated a shark's tail, but this is a full species change. What if the wings get rejected? Because the dragon's back is kind of rounded, I'm trimming a little bit out of the center of the wings and a bit at the top so that it will fit more snugly against the dragon. But first, I'm going to try to fix this air pocket in their foot. Might as well do both surgeries while they're under. I cut a little, actually kind of large, hole in the pocket and shoved some of these wing shavings into it. And then I glued it back up. I really wanted to use fabric hot glue since it's faster, but then I ran into an unforeseen problem. My glue gun already has regular hot glue in it, and I realized I have no idea how to get the glue out of it. I've never even considered it because usually you just shove more hot glue in. But I didn't want to melt an entire glue stick just to empty the gun, so I ordered a new hot glue gun on Amazon, and I will just use that for hot fabric glue. But I just used regular fabric glue for this project. After the foot and wings dried, I went in with puffy paint to seal the wings on, making sure to smooth out the edges. I also smoothed out the seams and the scar on their foot, but I forgot to film that. So finally, with the color, we're going to go in with a standard dragon green color scheme, with a light green belly. I just really love emerald and mint together. They look so pretty. For the wings, I just went with a plain purple. I really considered doing a gradient, but since this is the first time I've really glued on pieces, and that was already taking extra time, I didn't want to get too complicated and completely run out of time. And I realized that these wings are way too small to actually sustain flight, but I didn't have that many donor options, so these are more for looks than actual function. The spines are going to be pink, and I'm realizing it's actually kind of hard to paint in all those tiny little crevices that I myself created. I painted in the whites of the eyes and fixed the teeth where I splattered green all over them. And then, since they definitely need more color on the front, I added some pink claws and pink toenails, which I suppose are also claws. The eyes are a sort of mean-looking shape, but I really wanted them to be cute, so I went with giant pupils and shiny highlights. It's really hard to make sure things are even when they're on completely opposite sides of the head and you can't see them at the same time. Now, after all of that's done, that's all I had pre-planned. but this dragon needs something else. There's just too much green. What can I add to them? How about some freckles? On the nose, the arms, and the legs. Well, that's better, but it's definitely not enough. But I can't think of what else to add, so I guess that's it for now. So that's all the squishies I had time for this week. Absolutely none of them ended up how I had planned. The dragon is cute, but they just look unfinished. Sheila is, well, kind of a mess right now. She deserves better. And the flamingo is simpler than I planned, but actually turned out to be my favorite. Ooh, names. How about Peaches the flamingo and Bingo the Dragonsaur? Yes. Well, that's all for this week. What do you think? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.